All right, hey everyone. So this video is just about my gold strategy, my scalping strategy that I use, and also I'm just gonna get through with these questions right quick. I've been getting a lot of questions about my strategy, my other one, and I'm just gonna answer these right quick before I get started. Okay, I've gotten a lot of questions about does it repaint. None of my indicators on my chart repaint. None of the indicators I provided y'all repaint. I don't use repainting indicators. It will change, but after the candlestick closes, it doesn't change, because right here, something would have repainted right there. It doesn't repaint. I've been using this indicator for a couple years, so I have another trend indicator I used to use before this one, but I just prefer this one. It looks nicer, honestly. Somebody asked, do I provide signals? I do provide paid signals, but I've given you my strategy for free. So that's something that if you want to do, you can, but you have my own strategy that I use for free. So that's just up to you. Another person asked, is it safe to trade when it's hugging the 200? So he's talking about this right here. Like, I'm trying to find a great example, like right here. Like if it's doing this, if it's going over here, can you trade it? You can, but I'd just be pretty cautious, because it could, like, it closed a little bit under this, but it didn't fully close under it. So like that, I'd be cautious trading it. I'll put like a half a lot size or something like that. A lot of people are asking me, does it work on lower time frames? I don't personally trade it with lower time frames, but I have heard that it does work very well. And they said, how long does it take to come up? How long did it take me to come up with this strategy? This is like literally, like, I've went through strategies plenty of times. This is probably like my 30th strategy. Like, I just have different ones and they just get better and better every time. But this one, a lot of the indicators that I use, I've used them before, so I already know how they work, and I already had the perfect settings for them already. But this one took about a week because I had to back test. Usually my trend indicator is always on 10. The one in the middle right here is always on 10. That's like the perfect setting for it, because otherwise it'll be like glitchy and it doesn't work very well when it does that. Somebody asked, how did I find this indicator? I have like a list of indicators that I've back tested in a Microsoft doc. And these are just a bunch of trend indicators, MACDs, EMAs, all of that stuff. I have a bunch of those in one little document that I can go back to. And it's just a description of what they do and was it successful or not. And do I use lower time frames to get into trades? I do, depending on my time. Sometimes I don't, just because it's only going to be a difference between like $10 or so. But when I'm in trades for as long as I am, it really doesn't affect anything if I'm missing out on $10. And the last question is, what indicators do I put alerts on? I put alerts on the Lux Algo Premium, just this one. I'll go to alerts. Then you go, I think it's right here. Nope. It's right here. Yep, here we go. And all you do is leave it like that, confirmation signals all on one, and then once per bar close. And that's the only alert. That's the only indicator that has an alert. The other ones, they don't really need one. I have, I did the little, the coding, because one of them, my trend indicator didn't come with an alert. So I kind of just, I coded it to give me alerts, but I don't use it anymore. And that's all the questions for today. I have answered majority of your questions either in the comments or the DMs, but those are just the ones that I get asked the most. And on to my gold strategy. This strategy is like, it's pretty much like the other one, but it's different because I've had multiple scalping strategies before, but when Lux updated it to the 3.0 version, it took out the ability to put in decimals. So since I couldn't put in decimals, I couldn't do my like 5.6 that I used to do, and make some rules for that one. So now I can just the settings for this one is 9 and 20. And since I can only do whole numbers, it's kind of hard to tweak it and get it exactly how I used to, because the rules that used to go with this strategy was, this is before I even had the Lux oscillator, because the Lux, if you'll see in all of my strategies, there's always a way to minimize your losses. And that's what the Lux oscillator does. Like before, I would like, if a trade was, say I get into a trade, if a trade is 2 candlesticks off of my trend indicator, I could get in. Like I can get into this trade right here. That's my old rules. But my new rules is basically like the other one, but with gold, it's a little bit different. I only trade gold I scalp gold off the 30-minute chart, because gold is so volatile. Once it trends, it just trends. It just goes in that same direction for a while. So there's no point in trying to scalp gold on the 5-minute chart or lower. I mean, you can if you want to. I personally don't, but it's too much noise. And either way, it's going to be trending the way it wants to trend. So once it's in a trend, it stays in that trend for a while. So that's what I was saying. With this one, basically, it's the same thing. You can see it minimizes losses. I like all my things color coded. If everything matches up, you get in. Like right here, just for an example, yellow, yellow, yellow. You would have got in that big trade right there. Shot it all the way up. Now, when I'm scalping gold, like little instances like this where it was a little consolidation, I wouldn't even get out, because that'd be so small that I wouldn't even get out, honestly. But yeah, it's super easy. Everything matches up, you get in. It's been working. I usually trade gold just off this strategy. Like this is the only strategy I use for gold. I'm not sure if this works for any other pair. I'll check after I just give you the rundown of this. But yeah, everything lines up, you get in. Everything lines up. You wouldn't trade this one, but you would trade this one because it lines up. And another thing, I like this strategy because it keeps you out of losses like this. This right here, that's nothing. That you probably would have got in around here, and then you would have been out of there. You already lost. So it gets you out of trades, like losing trades like that. That's a losing trade right there. You wouldn't even have took it. You would have. Well, this is a winning trade, but still, it prevents losses, but it also prevents some wins. It's not 100% perfect, but it does prevent a lot of your losses, like a lot of losses that you would have took if you didn't have, like right here. That's a loss. It prevented that. That's a big win. You got in that. That's a big one also. You didn't get in that, but you got in this one right here. So, like I said, it prevents losses. It prevents a little bit of wins, but either way, you're still winning. You could actually just follow this regularly, and you could trade this alone, and you just be making money, because that's just how good I try to make them. And I do update my strategies daily. Well, not daily, but I try to like do it weekly, because sometimes a pair will change, and that'll just make your settings kind of iffy. So you do have to update your settings every now and then. But I made this strictly for gold, so I'm pretty sure it works for scalping lower time frames, like the 5-minute. I don't know. My other one, which I made for the hourly and higher, it works perfectly on lower time frames, like 15 minutes. So it could, like right here. Yep. I mean, I guess it's pretty good. I mean, I guess I wouldn't have used it. I personally don't like scalping. It takes too much time. I don't like doing it. And I'll check and see if it works on the 15 also. Oh, and another question I get a lot. If a trade forms right here, but it's over the yellow oscillator, it's over the line, you can still get in depending on how close it is. Like little trades like this, you can totally get in. It doesn't matter. It's most of the time it's going to be a winning trade. That's the risk you have to take. But yeah, if a trade forms right here and it's over the oscillator, or it's over the over here over the 200 line in my other strategy, you can get in, but I would recommend you going half a lot just to be safe. I would go half a lot because it could turn back or it could, but that's a 50-50 chance. So I don't really like scalping just because it's a lot of noise. And like this trade right here, you could have just easily took it in a 30-minute chart and you would have been done. Like this is just, you could have took that in a 30-minute chart. Like it just looks better in a 30-minute chart. It just looks a whole lot better, it's a whole lot smoother. So I do scalp, like what I would do, and I'll explain how I scalp on the 30-minute chart because most people don't do it. They do it on lower time frames. But basically, I wouldn't have took that, but I'll go to a trade I would have took. Say I took this one. I'd ride this one up, and scalping is just taking little profits. Basically, when I scalp, I stack a lot of trades. So I would take this one. I already have like 3 50 lot sizes, 3 of them, because I like to stack them. I like to spread out my trades so I can close profit if I need to and leave a few running. So that's always good. You have to have runners because that's how you get most of your profit. You take in profit, you close some trades, keep the profit. That's a guaranteed profit. You already took it. Then you leave trades running and you let those run. If they run and you put a trailing stop on them. If they run and they start to go down, the trailing stop will catch it. If they run and they go up, that's great. But either way, you're still in profit. You might lose a few dollars, but I'd rather take that risk of losing a few dollars than making a few dollars. So it's a pretty simple strategy. Let me just give you the settings. They're pretty much the same. I'll put them in the description. But these are 920. That's the only ones you need out of here. Sensitivity is 9. Agility is 20. The PP signal slope directional line, that's 10. As always, it'll always be 10. That's the only setting I like. It'll come as 14, but 14 is trash. It's not good. The Lux oscillator, that is at 200 this time. It's taking the place of the regular 200 EMA. And the source is the PP signal slope directional line. So it does make a difference. It makes a difference. It does make a difference. So I recommend that you put it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. This is my gold scalping strategy that I use personally. I use it every time I trade gold, or if I don't have enough time, I'll actually just trade gold with my strategy here, which I'm actually in a trade with this strategy. I'm actually in a short trade. I'm selling. I'm hoping it's going to come back down. If it doesn't, that's a small loss that I took compared to all my wins. But I'm thinking that this gold trade is going to come back down just based off the rules of my strategy. So I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not God, but that's just what I think. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. Great. But yeah, that's all the questions. I've answered everybody's questions over the past days. If you have any more questions, you can just type it in the comments. I'll answer it as fast as I can.